All right. Looks like we're about to get started. This is going to be a reaction video here. Doing one on Willie D. This is the guy from the Ghetto Boys, which was a very popular rap group back in the 90s, early 90s. I remember them, so Scarface of the Ghetto Boys, Willie D, Bushwick Bill. These were the guys in this group. So what I'm going to do is we'll be talking about that. I'm going to play the video in a few minutes. And basically we're just going to go over it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on pause for the music there. One of my favorites. Use that as my opening theme as well too. So other than that, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. I'm gonna stop the video, make some comments, talk about a rebuttal to what Willie D had to say. So I'm gonna do a rebuttal to this and stuff that what Nelly have already said. So Nelly basically, we're gonna play the video, but Nelly said what he had to say to rebuttal Bushwick Bill, because Bushwick Bill made a statement saying that Donald Trump was a racist. And he's been really making a lot of videos, very liberal, very, very liberal, which is not surprising, because we know growing up in the Black community, most of them Democrat, so forth, that's usually how it goes on things. And what I'm also going to do is that I'm going to give some information and things in regards to the Republican Party as well, as far as the information in regards to that. So before I get started, let me just go ahead and grab my other notes, and then we'll just go right into it. Because, this is the party. First and foremost, I want to say that the Republican Party is a party of our ancestors, first and foremost, and things like that. So we're going to get down to it. Let me see here. So let me just pull up my notes here. The origin of the Republican. Let me see here. Okay. Republican. Let me see here. Okay, hold on for a minute. All right, let's take a look at it here. I'm just going to pull my notes up here just one moment. Okay. All right, so here we go. So I think what I'm going to do first is, let's go ahead and get it started. We're going to do the reactions. Let's go ahead and play the video first. So here we go.
Willie D live.
Considering the backlash that you've received for agreeing to this performance, right?
But I've been getting backlash. I've been getting backlash my whole career.
But this particular backlash is different. Right. How do you reconcile your artistic choices with the diverse political beliefs of your fan base?
That's my fan base. If my fan base really have a political belief, right? Here's the thing. Like, I agree in family first. I believe in family first. Period. Family before politics. Family above and beyond. So now we don't always seem like we're making those choices sometimes when when we grow up the way that we grow up. Sometimes when we in the hoods and we're doing certain things, it's like, no, you're not putting your family first when you out there hustling, or you're not really putting your family first. Like, we can rationalize that and say that we are. But really we're not, because we're taking certain choices. But in our hearts, we truly believe that. So in this type of situation, if my fans are so if politics is above and beyond anything other than what that person stands for, what that person has done, then I apologize that I, quote unquote, let you down, because I thought you was riding with me for the scholarships that I've been giving away since I've been in this business. I thought you was riding with me for the people that I got signed up on the bone marrow stem cell registry that was all record breaking and helping people save lives. I thought you was riding with your boy for the children that we visit at Children's Hospital to Brain. I thought you was riding with me for the bikes and the presents and the things that we give away to unfortunate kids at Christmas. I thought you was riding with me because I put on for my city and I try to bring my city up every step of the way. I did not know you was riding with me because you thought I would ride for who you voted for. I didn't know that. I apologize. I apologize. I didn't know that I had to agree with your political choices. And I thought it was the things that you do, not the things that you say should be done. If you follow what I do, this shouldn't even be an argument. He's the president. He won. This isn't a campaign. This isn't an RNC. I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5. You see what I'm saying? Like to try to help somebody get voted.
Kamala didn't invite you to
No. She didn't invite me.
She didn't invite me either, man. I was going to do all that.
Like, so, but I don't knock the ones that did. I don't knock the brothers and sisters that benefited from it. I don't knock the correspondents that may have gotten money to do that. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It don't matter who is in office. The same way that our men and women, our brothers and sisters who protect this country have to go to war and have to put their life on the line for whoever in office. So if they can put their life on the line for whoever in office, I can damn sure perform for whoever.
What do you say to the people that say we're not giving you this backlash because of your political affiliation or your political choice or whatever? We're giving you this backlash because you are propping up a white supremacist.
I would ask them to show me where he's a white supremacist, and here's the thing.
Don't start a business, buy an existing business. You don't have to be a rich investor with bags full of cash to buy.
I wouldn't have to get the interruption.
Okay, I get it. He did say if you don't vote for me, you're not black, right? Oh no, that wasn't him. That wasn't him. Hold on. I'm trying to think. Hold on. He did create
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
He did create the crime bill in the 90s, which said that if you get caught with 5 grams of crack, you do a mandatory 5 years. That had mass incarceration. I think even the Vice President Kamala spoke on that part that said that the crime bill played a huge part. No, he didn't do that. Let me see. What did he do? I'm trying to think. The white supremacist. Hold on. I'm gonna get to it. Okay. He did not rent to black people. What was it, in the 70s or the 80s? Is that what they said? And like, oh, okay. Is he written to him now? So nobody's allowed to change, right? See, here's the thing. So we can talk about past, but we never want to talk about our past. If our past get brought up in our community for a lot of what our men did, we always call it rehabilitation. Yo, these young brothers, we've been through a lot. I know I've been through a lot. If my past was what was going to prevent me from winning today, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that he ain't got some fucked up ways. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's why I'm not telling you who to vote for. But what I'm saying is that he's the president of the United States. He's not the candidate for the United States. He's the president. He won.
I think if Trump, some of these ways, like, you know, with the housing discrimination that he participated in back in the 80s, if that was a one-off, if that was, or even if he had some other things going on where he looked like a bigot to us, that might be one thing. But it's another thing when he starts saying things like when you have a situation where you have black folks getting their heads blown off by the police with impunity, and Trump says, I'm going to give them even more impunity.
Hold on.
We're going to be the ones affected the most by something like
impunity. He's not giving them.
He didn't say he was going to give them impunity. He said he was going to give them immunity.
Right. Not for working outside of your job. Nobody's going to give anybody immunity to go around and shoot and kill.
All right. You hear this nonsense? Oh, this is the type of stuff. This is typical, same old tiresome, rhetoric coming from Willie D. It's the same old script that we all have heard. I done heard this in the so-called black community pretty much through all my life with this type of rhetoric that's coming from him. He seemed like he could be an ops agent from the Democratic Party. He may or may not be, but even though he said that he didn't get paid for Kamala Harris's, when on her campaign thing or whatever like that, but he sure seems like it though, because he seemed to really carry a narrative and things as well as propaganda. I think that Willie D is, I think he's just kind of going with the crowd because, like I said before, what tends to happen in the so-called black community is simply this. It's a thing called very cultish in the so-called black community. It's a very cult-like mentality. And I can give you an example, though, of this cult-like behavior. So therefore, you notice what in the black community, dancing, singing, playing sports, all these things, black people have been told that this is what it is. It's like you're pretty much kind of like born with a basketball in your hand or a football in your hand or knowing how to dance. And I know black people that don't know how to dance, but these are the type of things you have to like, sports. You have to like all this type of stuff. It's very cultish, once again. Even with the political party, you have to vote Democrat. Let's just take it away from Trump right now. We're just talking about what the narrative is, what has been ingrained in the minds of a lot of so-called, black people. Democratic Party is synonymous between the two. If someone says that I'm a Republican in the black diaspora, what's going to end up happening? You get attacked. Now, Willie D of the Ghetto Boys, back in the early 90s, he popularized with the group, what was it? The Ghetto Boys, Mind Playing Tricks on Me, and there's a few other songs that I remember that was very, very popular. Now, Willie D, remember I was saying about black racism as well too. He promoted a lot of ghetto music stuff that promoted drugs and violence and all this other kind of stuff coming from his music, like a lot of them back in the 90s. So he was no exception in things. Luther Campbell, the song the group Two Live Crew, and there's a lot of these other type of groups. They have become, even Luther Campbell, they all become very liberal and very, very outspoken now. It's like, well, what about all of the damage that he has done in his earlier career? Now, I'm not saying that people can't change, but what if I hold Willie D to the same standard that he's holding Trump? So regards to the Fair Housing Act and so forth. So this thing wasn't about discriminating, because there's a thing called the Fair Housing Act of 1968. I do believe that was drafted as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think it had whatever Trump had. And I'm not saying Trump does everything that's perfect, but look at a lot of the good that Trump have done over the years, helping people, all kind of people. And not only that, what we're going to do this here, we're going to pull up, because I know I may be jumping a little bit, but Nelly brought up the crime bill and so forth to the rebuttal to Willie D and things like that, talking about Joe Biden, right? So let's go ahead and go back in time a little bit. I'm not going to read everything, but some of the key provisions of the 1994 crime bill. Number one, increasing police funding, right? And this was all a Democratic um, policies, right? So they increased the funding, hiring 100,000 new police officers. And this happened back in when they passed this crime bill in 1994. I lived that era. I know exactly what it is, right? The three strike rule was birthed out of that, expanded death penalties, right? Which means that they added 60 new federal crime eligibility. Yeah, eligibility. Can't even talk tonight, man. Eligible, right? Yeah, so eligible for death penalty, right? Including certain drug and related offenses, right? Prison construction, right? So this is another thing too. Allocated billions of dollars for buildings of new prisons. And this is where the prison industrial complex started happening because I got brother, my mother used to work CO, corrections officer and all that stuff. And I remember when it was state owned, a lot of these state owned prisons were sold to private corporations and things like that. So that was brought up under Clinton as well too. They started buying up a lot of these prisons and stuff like that, and they became privatization of prison systems, right? And this is why ghetto music and so forth like that. I'm talking about like they've been weaponized, right, from the NWA and all the rest of them, where they have this gangster rap. It was designed because they needed occupants in the prison systems, right? So therefore, you put the music, you draft up the crime bill, you go into certain black neighborhoods when you make more. It was an assault weapons ban. That was another one. Tougher sentences, right? So they came up with the certain amount of ounces that they were caught and where they would actually do a lot of time going to prison, youth crime and so forth like that. This is where a lot of this stuff have been birthed out of, some of the biggest controversies under the 94 crime bill was mass incarceration, you know what I'm saying? Because critics can argue that the bill contributed to a disproportionate imprisonment of blacks and Latino communities. Anybody and everybody know that this is what it was, promoting war on drugs at the same time. I remember the head slogan, war on drugs, right? Radical disparities, right? This is another thing, though, racial inequities, criminal justice systems, over policing, right? Funding for increasing police presence was, and these are the things like that. I remember heavy police in the black communities. They messed this whole thing up, but it was done on purpose. This is all a Democratic policy. If we were to look at what Trump and mirror what Joe Biden, because this was actually Joe Biden's baby, the 1994 crime bill, he's proud of this. This is Joe Biden's baby right here, right? So he implemented this. We're talking about the 1994 crime bill, formerly known as the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, right? So it was a significant piece of legislation that Joe Biden, because at the time he was a senator from Delaware, right? He played a major role in drafting and promoting. This is what he did. And guess who signed this bill? And where it became law. He signed this bill into law. It was President Bill Clinton, September the 13th, 1994, right? It was, and basically here it is, just to kind of put a nail in the coffin. It was the largest crime bill in U.S. history at the time, with a funding allocation of $30 billion. And this is what was funded. It took this, the bill was passed. This was all the plan. This was the plan because they were investing in what we call the privatization of prisons. They promoted gangster rap music, right? And they put more weapons and drugs on the street where they knew that this was going to happen. They put more police officers out here as well, too. 3-strike rule, as I mentioned before, weapons assault, because this was part of the plan too. There was a assault weapons ban that they created. So anyone that was caught with a semi-automatic assault weapon, they would be locked up for decades. It went from 1994 to 2004. So these are the things that actually happened back in the early 90s, right around with Bill Clinton. So this would be my rebuttal to Willie D. So either he knows this, because we're all in the same age bracket. I'm talking about Generation Xers that have lived that. And some of you guys may be Generation Xers as well, but I just wanted to get some pushback because with these Dems and these liberals, what they tend to not focus on is that they talk about one person and they don't want to look at the other person. For some reason, liberals look at Joe Biden as not a racist. I can go further. Matter of fact, I think I will. Let's go ahead and go further, though, right? We're going to talk about, there was a guy by the name of Robert Byrd. At the time, he was a Democratic senator out of West Virginia. Now, Joe Biden and Robert Byrd were very good friends. In fact, Senator Robert Byrd was a mentor to Joe Biden. This was a known fact. Did you know that Senator, at the time, he was Robert Byrd, right? He was a member of the Ku Klux Klan in the early 1940s. He joined the KKK as a young man and briefly held a leadership position as the Exalted Cyclops. I'm going to pull this up. This is documented, well documented information. Now it says here later he expressed deep regret for involvement with the Ku Klux Klan and worked on distancing himself. See, you can distance yourself, but he's still a Klan member. It didn't say that he denounced being a Ku Klux Klan. It didn't, one person that denounced being a Ku Klux Klan was David Duke. But so-and-so, we're talking about Robert Byrd now. He never denounced he distanced himself. You can still be a member and distance yourself. It didn't say that he denounced his membership from the Ku Klux Klan, right? This was a no. We're talking about Exalted Cyclops. Go on and pull that up. They got different type of titles and names. So what I'm saying here right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly the type of things that either Willie D doesn't know or he doesn't want to know. Let's just say that. And I would probably say that maybe he don't know. I give him the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, I just find this stuff just very, very interesting to me, that he can go ahead and single out. They're giving Snoop Dogg, Nelly. They're going to be performing at the inauguration. What's the big deal, But again, remember I was saying, in the so-called black community, it's all about, you have to, they did the same thing to try to shun the young black men for voting for Trump. Isn't it sounding familiar? Was it the great arch deceiver and the fallen Messiah Obama, right? He had to go down there in Philadelphia and talk to the brothers. You may not be, and all this other kind of stuff. It's nonsense. You may not be feeling it. So it's just ridiculous. So you may not be feeling it. So it's just crazy. Grown people, grown men, they treat in the black community. It's almost like, you have like another mother or another father chastising you for the choices you make. It's just very weird behavior. You would never see this in any other community, ladies and gentlemen. Willie D, he's not my father. He's not my brother. We don't know each other. The viewpoints and political viewpoints that I stand on, obviously he swing to the left. That's fine. I don't gaslight him and beat him and club him across the head verbally because he's a Democrat. But what do? The Dems, what would they do? They'll go in and bully club us, or try to far as verbally, that is, or virtually with a billy club. This is what they do. Gaslighting, This is what Willie D tried to do to Nelly. Nelly handled himself pretty good because he knew about the crime bill. He already knew about that and things. And this is a known document. These are documented incidents that happened in the 90s under Bill Clinton because he signed off on it. It was Joe Biden's baby, which was the crime bill in 1994. Joe Biden, the same dude that was using the N-word back in the 70s and the 80s. He's been a senator for over 47 years. Plain and simple. He did not care, hate it. He didn't like black folks at all. He didn't have a lot of respect for us. He didn't want his children going to an urban jungle, something like that, he said, right? And then his best friend and mentor is Robert Byrd, right? Which was also a senator, as you heard me mention, you know what I'm saying, out of West Virginia, and a known Ku Klux Klan member back in the when he joined in the 40s. An exotic cyclops. Where he distanced himself. He didn't denounce his leadership. He didn't denounce his, I should say, membership from them. And like I said, I'm not saying that once a Klan member, always one, but I noticed there's a little play on words here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I brought this up. So we kind of went over briefly about the crime bill. This was a piece of, this is the legislature that it was passed into law, right? That they drafted up. Why? Because they knew with the privatization of the prison system, they needed occupants. This is why gangster rap was born. This was a story that there was some guys that have went and visited the record producing labels when rap started getting popular, and they wanted something edgy, something shocking, something that promoted violence, drugs, prostitution, and all this other stuff. And this is when gangster rap was promoted, though. So they went to these companies, what's his name? Jerry Heller and these other guys. The guy from Interscope Records, what's his name? Something Cohen, and there was a few other guys in there in the music industry, though. And they were paid a lot of money to allow these young black men to promote gangster rap. What they really didn't realize is, yeah, they were getting the money, but what they did is that they destroyed about 3 generations with this nonsense. Drill music came way after gangster rap. Gangster rap was the first, because I remember as a kid growing up, and when it started changing in the 90s and things like that. So NWA was one of the first precursors, right, to gangster rap. You know, so we started looking at, then you started seeing the movies like Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood. You started seeing a trend of these type of movies, Get Rich, Die Trying. What's the other one? It was a lot of those type of movies that happened in the 90s and the 2000s. Belly, that came out, was it 1996 or something like that? Belly was one, and they made a Belly Part 2, which I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one, but you started seeing all these type of movies, and they promoted this type of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. This was the plan, man. This is exactly what ended up happening, you know, when we started seeing this stuff. So just to this reaction here to Willie D, because like I said before, he's been very, very boisterous and leading this like liberal charge. Now I know with Snoop Dogg and Trump, Snoop Dogg never liked Trump. Ever since he ran the first time, Snoop hated Trump, it would appear, but he always had some type of snide remarks under the same moniker, you know, like what Willie D was saying about, oh yeah, he's a racist and everything, and they couldn't really give you a real reason other than was they trying to say some type of discrimination and all this other kind of stuff. But like I said before, and then I think he brought up Central Park 5, you know, which was another one. But like I said, Trump wasn't perfect on that. Guess who else made a statement on that? Was Hillary Clinton. Did she say that she called them super predators or something like that? They gave Hillary Clinton a pass on that Central Park 5. It was almost as if Hillary never said a word. It was all about Trump. I find that to be very rich. I really do. Because I remember when Hillary Clinton made the statement. If I were to pull it up right now, we could show the receipt if you want me to pull it up. But she did make that statement where she accused those innocent black men in over there in for the Central Park Five, and she called them super predators. And I remember that. There was a lot of Dems that were angry. There was people that were mad and upset. You know, the young white woman, I think it was in over in Central Park. I remember it's a story was a little while ago, but that's what ended up happening though. So they didn't come after Hillary. You know, the person they came after was Trump, you know. So we're gonna go into a little history once again about the Democratic Party. And once and for all, because I can tell either Willie D know this history and he doesn't want to tell it, because I find that a lot of these black liberals, there's a history of the Republican Party, right? And I said this before, the party of my ancestors, right? The Republican Party, often referred as the GOP, right, which is the Grand Old Party, was founded in the United States in 1854, I think it was, 53 or 54. It was the original rooted in anti-slavery movement, right? And the political realignment that occurred years leading up to the American Civil War, right? There were some key points found under the Republican Party. The what's it? I'm trying to say the name here. Hold on for a minute. It's like late though too. Abolitionist roots. The party emerged in response to the Kansas and Nebraska Act of 1854, right, which allowed the expansion of slavery into new territories throughout the popular sovereignty. This angered many of the northern states who were opposed to the spread of slavery. So, in other words, ladies and gentlemen, when the Republican Party started in 1854, it was the stop of the spread of slavery throughout the West. If it wasn't for the Republican Party, slavery would have continued. This was a democratic policy. Slavery. We're talking about slavery. We're talking about Ku Klux Klan. We're talking about things, Jim Crow, segregation, was it redlining? All these things happen by their policies. And this is why I say the Democratic Party hasn't changed very much. They changed their practices, but they kept their same old ways. Just because you can put up the sheet and put on the suit and smile and shake hands with black people, but ultimately, because all they did is just use it for the voting block. They just gained a voting block with the blacks. And another story to this as well is that I want you guys to notice. I don't know if you know this or whatever. Now I know this, but the first meeting of the Republican Party meeting took place in Ripton, Wisconsin, March 1854. In Jackson, Michigan, July the 6th, 1854. And this is where home of the Republican Party. And I used to live in Jackson, Michigan. This is a known fact. That's the home of the Republican Party, Jackson, Michigan. That's an actual fact, right? So that's when the party was actually where they held their meetings and stuff like that. That's why they have a sign that's saying home of the Republican Party. So talking about the party itself, right? We're talking about the ideologies, the foundations, right? You know, the abolishment of slavery, right? The economic modernization, and things like that, and support for free labor opposed to slave labor. This is all what the Republican Party was about. You know, we even had Abraham Lincoln, as you heard me mention several times. A lot of you guys knew this, right? James Buchanan, that's another Republican, 1960, you know what I'm saying? So these were Republicans. We even had presidents that were Republican. And Democrats, Dems and Republicans have been at war with each other ever since. It was two ideologies. One was for freedom, one was for slavery. And this is why when you look in the blue states, nothing never gets done, because those are what we call slave states under the Democratic Party. They have the highest gun control, especially in the urban cities, than any other red state. It's totally, they don't abide by the Constitution, and this is why they're dubbed as anti-American. I'm talking about Democrats. And since Willie D either don't know this or he refused not to know it, and I think I can't say what he knows and what he doesn't know, but like I said before, it's cowardice to, let's say if he did know this and refused not to mention it, and he just want to run with the Democratic slave narrative, far as them being for great for black people, because they're afraid of being ostracized. One thing that you'll learn about black people, a lot of them are afraid of speaking out. See, I ain't afraid to speak out, but he is, because he doesn't want to lose the cool points with black people. So they just ride with the same old lies and the same old narrative. And Willie D is no different. I'm gonna play the rest of the video. I just wanted to share this with you guys, though. It's the same old narrative once again. So let's go ahead and play it here.
Kill people, right? That means he could go around and shoot and
But
kill
that's
the
what he
president.
said he was going
That
to do.
means police can go around and shoot and kill the president. No. If you look at that law, it says outside of the scope of their job. It's the same thing, and a lot of us would agree right now that the police already have it, right? So why would we think that would mean that if they're not paying now, then they're not gonna pay, right? Listen.
Another commercial. Hold on a minute. All right.
Listen.
Man, don't hit me with the bird, man, dog. Don't hit me with the bird.
Yeah. No, because I'm trying to choose my words carefully, because I don't want to get into, rhetoric and regurgitation of what, back and forth on either side is happening, because that's not it. That's why I'm not telling you who to vote for, because if you're saying in the 80s, Hitler would have been a one-off. Well, okay, I'm not okaying anything he's done. I'm not here to take up for Trump. I'm just saying we don't hold everybody else accountable in the same manner. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, why aren't we holding mass incarceration and people who made a bill to encourage states to build more prisons? Why wouldn't we look at that crippled us as well? But somebody that owns a building in New York City, okay, that's in New York City, but that crime bill affected the whole United States. That crime bill affected every hood in the 90s. It affected every urban family to a certain degree, almost, that grew up in the 90s. We all come from, well, I ain't saying we all, people like us who come from certain areas of the states have people who were affected by this crime bill, mass incarceration. Now they say that drug addicts, they need help. Back then, we were considered animals. In the 90s, we were considered animals. Lock them up. Don't treat them. Lock them up.
It sure was. He's telling the truth, because a lot of the blacks that was locked up, they were treated as animals, super predators, and so forth. They sure were, though. I know people personally that was caught up in that mess as well. But the liberals like Willie D, once again, they only look to Trump. They ignore the obvious logical, everything Nelly is saying is logic, but they refuse basic logic. He stays on the narrative because Willie D's friends and associates and his mama and everybody else, we know how it go, because they stay on that narrative because it's comfortable. They are comfortable in entertaining a lie.
Now, if you see, now it's an addiction. We need to get these people help. That, to me, that's more racist. To me, it's more racist to say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, to a black man on a black show in 2020, not what somebody did in 1980. To me, that seems more racist to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
You got a point there. Look, man, when you're right, you're right. You know what I'm saying? When you're right, you're right. You know, the thing about Biden, I do believe, I think we find ourselves in a very peculiar situation in this country as Black people, where no matter which side we go on, even if we go on the Black side, oftentimes we're gonna get stabbed in the back. We're in a country that targets us for failure, and you know, even when we want to get into the system, try to do the right thing, and try to be you know, a conduit for change. Oftentimes, you know, we find ourselves, you know, crippled by the politics, and we can't really get a lot done. So it's like when you look at Biden, I think people want to believe that Biden has turned a new leaf. They want to believe that Biden has turned a new leaf because they gotta rock with somebody, right? We you know, like. We're in a situation where, okay, we got to pick a side. You got to rock with somebody. And then you have those of us who say, man, fuck all of them. I don't want to rock with none of them. You know,
I'm independent. I'm independent. That's why I don't tell you.
I'm also independent.
That's why I don't tell you I don't swing either way. The only reason we're talking.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing, though, too. It's one thing I can respect about, you know, being independent, which is fine. I got friends that are, you know, but let's just be real. It's like I said before, and this is prevalent once again in the so-called Black community, where change or going outside of the cult and being ridiculed. It's the same thing when you join any one of these cult membership hookups, you know, especially in these religious houses. I'm not going to name no names, but, you know, cults, and you have a cult leader, right? And you got the members. And what do they want to do? They want to keep you brainwashed, keep you ignorant. And then when you try to lead a cult or try to venture off into something different, maybe something else may be a better way for you. But what do? What they end up doing is that they gaslight you, they name call you, they shout you down and so forth. And this is exactly what it is. What these guys try to do is say, well, you know, hey, I'm neutral. I'm not either way. So therefore, and I get it. That's a safe way to say, to keep it off your back. Because maybe some people may not have the aptitude or the, more like the mentality is more or less like I say, instead of aptitude, it's the mentality. They don't really have the mentality to be able to deal with it. Because with me, I can deal with being MAGA. Because again, I know the party of my ancestors, as far as the Republican Party alone. Read a little history there, you know, and I could have went a lot deeper, but I said I wasn't going to try to bore people and try to simplify it a little bit. But if these people, and I'm sure Nelly knows about the Republican Party, but he's not going to, you know, big up it. Because a lot of his friends that he know, especially in the music industry, let's face it, both of them are celebrities. Let's just face it. And we know that entertainers, celebrities, majority of them are liberal, because you can't get no work being a conservative. That's a known fact. In Hollywood, it's literally impossible to be a conservative in Hollywood and make it. You know, it don't work that way. It's cultish there too. Though if you're liberal, you can get to work. Thumbs up, no problem. If you're conservative, you are not getting a job. You are not getting any type of work. It is what it is. It just will not happen. And many of these guys are not going to go against the grain. But to say that, hey, you know, I have a neutral stand and things like that. Even in Hollywood, they want you liberal. They don't want you to have no neutral stance. You know, they say, what's going on here? Having a neutral stance, you're supposed to be liberal. So therefore, we want you to go along with the program. This is why these two didn't get called by Kamala Harris. You know, could they pay them out because they're saying they're neutral. The people that she paid out were liberal. Oprah Winfrey was liberal. She got paid $1 million, right? Al Sharpton got paid $500,000. He's always been liberal, crook, but he's always spoken as liberal. And Megan Thee Stallion, all the rest of them, Beyonce, they all speak liberal. And that's where they get the payout. Being a liberal, sell your soul out, get paid for the cash. That's simple. We finished playing this out.
Talking today is because he won. He's the president. I'm here to perform for the office. That's all. That's that.
So your point. So what do you say to people who say, yeah, the Trump comes with the office? So you're performing for Trump. His name is on the inauguration.
Well, more than half this country voted for Trump. If you respect the process when the process works in your favor, respect the process when it don't work in your favor.
But I think hold on, stop right there. That's a good point. That's an excellent point.
That's an excellent point.
One of the issues that people have is that Trump don't respect the process when it don't work in his favor.
Okay,
if things don't go his way. Like if he had not won, right, he would have said everybody cheated on him. He
okay, but I was told certain people when they go low, we go high.
Now when they go low, I go low.
We get even. I know you. I feel you.
I'm going low.
I feel you. Listen, let me tell you something, my brother. Like, I don't get into like federal politics or all like that. I agree with the homie Killer Mike and the brother Killer Mike when he said like, yo, you should be more on your state politics more than anything ever that. And I'm not saying that I'm really intertwined into all of that. I just want to do good by my people, and that means getting things done.
If you have a
so that's the thing about it though. Once again though, Killer Mike is another guy, right? These are like rappers and stuff that I'm known like from coming up, especially in the 90s and stuff like that. So a lot of them once again are liberal, Now I don't have any problems with people. Unfortunately, I got friends that are liberal, but I respect their viewpoints. We have these debates and things like that. But again, when I hit it with a lot of logic, right? Even though the logic makes sense, but again, they're afraid to step out. And this is what's so sad. And this is straight across the board. This ain't just a black thing, but it seemed to hit the blacks worse because whites, I don't see them. I mean, well, there is gaslighting from the whites too, because let's face it. Remember when Kamala lost, right? And then the liberal whites, what did they started doing? Acting crazy and everything. This was a black and white and other. So I'm not saying that this is exclusively in the blacks, but I'm only speaking right now in the so-called black community, but it's always been very cultish and things. But straight across the board is cultish as well, but it hits in the black community where the gaslighting happens as well. We get gaslighted a lot and things, especially when you're saying you're a MAGA. It's even worse. It's like that can get you disowned depending on the type of family and stuff like that. And it happened to me. I got cousins and stuff that don't rock with me anymore though. When they, and I always let them know where my position was, So, yeah, it's just really sad that a situation like this have happened. So yeah, just kind of sharing with you some of the type of things, what happened with this reaction video and stuff like that. Nelly handled himself very, very well, I got to say though. For somebody as moderate, yeah, he handled himself pretty good, because you can see the look with Willie D though. He just had this look like you can tell when you're getting hit with logic, it's like a light bulb come on his head. And I gotta give respect for Willie D. It wasn't really much of a debate much of a debate because Nelly was just hitting with some facts with he tore him up on the crime bill. And he made the point once again. How can the liberals overlook a racist policy that in mass incarceration of black men back in 1994 and it destroyed families. The whole crack epidemic thing, anybody that know the history of that, it happened and was targeted in the black community. COINTELPRO and all this other stuff, it was done purposely. That it was created. This was a plan set in motion, right? So you cannot turn away and say, oh, this is just an epidemic. I mean, no, this is what ended up happening. So this is edged in history. If it wasn't for Trump and his First Step program, when it come down to releasing over 7,000 inmates and 91% of them were black, were African American, whatever you want to call it, that's what ended up happening. Because of that crime bill, that's how they got in there in the first place, you know? So Trump knew this. Trump is a Republican. If Trump was a racist, and this is what I would have said. Now, maybe Nelly knew this. I'm sure he probably did. But if I would have been talking to Willie D, I would give him the history of the Republican Party. And then I also have to give him, brought up the 94 crime bill. I would have brought that up. I would have brought up Robert Byrd. I would have brought up Joe Biden. Would have went down the history. And when you hear the N-word, you ain't never heard Trump use the N-word. You get heard, all right, matter of fact, let's do this. I mean, I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, we go ahead and pull it on up. There it is.
Clearly indicates that there was intent. The court found the plan with unerring precision slices through the city's traditional subunit, the ward, in a racially selective manner, leaving intact predominantly white wards while carving up those densely populated by blacks. As of the governor, the court concludes, quote, the governor's opposition to the Nunes plan was predicated in significant part on his delineation of a majority black district centered in Orleans Parish. In a confidential portions of your staff memo, they brought to your attention the allegation that important legislators in defeating the Nunes plan in the basement said, quote, we already have a nigger mayor and we don't need any more nigger big shots. And the court cited evidence of discriminatory intent on the part of other legislators, including the representative who testified at the court hearing, that there were legislators, quote, who don't feel.
Hold on for one moment. Hold on for a minute. Put back and change. I remember that one. Hold on for a minute. Yep. This is a Senate hearing. Yeah, I think they kind of scrub some of them now, though. Damn. Oh, yeah, here it is. Hold on for a minute. This is the young Joe Biden right here. Look at him. This is young Joe Biden right here. Yeah. Hold on for a minute. This is when he was 30 years old. Yeah, I'm gonna get those other ones. Hunter Biden. Yeah. That's Joe Biden back then. Let's take a look at it here.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do. The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots. The law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Joe Biden was victimized by the truth.
Bye-bye Biden. He may not know it yet, but I think this is going to be very difficult for him to recover.
Is Joe Biden dead meat, yes or no?
I think so.
Bob?
Terminal condition.
Terminal. Eleanor?
Yes, unless he comes in third in Iowa.
Morton?
Dying.
I say dead.
Democratic presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seems to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania don't come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now, that's a little too much because, as you point out, what's behind the words? What's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
But CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge, that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children,
The health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim, or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Is it a wise idea, though, to take something that personal, anyway, from another politician and try and appropriate it to your own campaign?
I think it was a stupid thing to appropriate material that was really very personal, that was someone else's.
Most people didn't know who he was, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, oh, yeah, he's the guy who plagiarized.
That's
a lot of people. Politically, that's devastating. These clips are devastating. He looks like a Joe Biden wind-up doll with somebody else's words coming out.
If they're going to do things that are stupid as well as immoral, then they're probably too dumb to have the job of president.
The voters are going to have to decide whether he was dishonest or dumb.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I probably best on
Twitter. I was not out marching.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn turn.
What a weirdo.
When he was over there in Iraq for a year, people would come to him and talk about what was happening to them at home in terms of foreclosures, in terms of bad loans.
The Biden crime bill. Democrats right now, especially African Americans, have really looked back on the 1994 crime bill not very fondly. Hillary Clinton herself has come out against it, even though her husband signed it into law. Well, the author of that crime bill was Joe Biden.
The Biden crime bill. The Biden crime bill.
Biden's 1994 crime bill, while implementing sweeping gun control, also helped fuel mass incarceration with financial incentives to keep people behind bars.
The Biden crime bill. The Biden crime bill.
The Biden crime bill is before us, calls for the death penalty for 51 offenses. A wag in the newspaper recently wrote that something to the effect that Biden has made it a death penalty offense for everything but jaywalking.
Biden crime bill. Biden crime bill.
I like the idea they keep in jail longer. I'm the guy that wrote the bill requiring federal judges to keep people in jail 100% of the time for which they're sentenced, and the notable exceptions only 85%. So I'm all for tougher enforcement.
If Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot. Is it because blacks are involved in Haiti?
It was old media that got him in trouble. Personal comments he made about another White House hopeful, Senator Barack Obama.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean, nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man. Yeah. The Senate.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists. In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus. On March 25th, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race. Eastland and others were partners on several of Biden's anti-busing bills. On June 30th, 1977, Biden wrote, "Dear Mr. Chairman, I want you to know that I very much appreciate your help during this week's committee meeting in attempting to bring my anti-busing legislation to a vote." Then in 1978, Biden again asked Eastland to put his anti-busing bill before the full Senate, writing, "Your participation in floor debate would be welcome."
Well, the fact that he would solicit the support of staunch segregationists, James Eastland, as well as Jesse Helms, introducing legislation as opposing busing at that time.
Now to the race for 2020 this morning and new backlash against former Vice President Joe Biden. He's refusing to apologize as he faces growing criticism over comments he made about being able to work with others in Washington. But his examples were segregationist senators 40 years ago.
Apologize for what?
I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
To coddle the reputations of segregationists, of people who, if they had their way, I would literally not be standing here as a member of the United States Senate, is, I think, it's misinformed and it's wrong.
2020 rival Senator Cory Booker demanding an apology.
Somebody running for president of the United States, somebody running to be the leader of our party, should know that using the word boy in the way he did can cause hurt and pain. Vice President Biden shouldn't need this lesson.
The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. Increase the penalties. Increase them. I would put the son of a gun in jail. Put them to death.
From the crack epidemic of the 80s to the crime wave of the 90s to the post 9/11 war on terror, throughout his career, Biden has represented the Democratic Party consensus, shifting his views to fit whatever best serves his own political career. Over his 44 years in the Senate and then as vice president, Biden was a leading architect of today's criminal justice system, which contributed to mass incarceration and the police misconduct that protesters are fighting back against today.
When I wrote the original bill that started this whole process, the so-called Biden crime bill, I didn't call a liberal confab and write it. I didn't call any big society people and write it. I called the cops. A Democratic president wants 100,000 cops. A Democratic president wants to build 125,000 new prison cells. That's the secret. That somehow the Republicans tried to make the crime bill tougher. I say poppycock. They didn't make anything tougher. Found out that this midnight basketball isn't getting them together, a bunch of jive folks living in their city to do, try to see if they can be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, this is basically
When they
what
found
it is,
out.
so, ladies and gentlemen. In the black community, they voted for their own destruction. This is the guy that they big up. They still hold old Sleepy Joe, old Joe, Jim Crow Joe. They hold him up. You don't hear Willie D or any of them calling this guy out. They give him a pass. Cory Booker talking about an apology. The guy shouldn't even been the president. He shouldn't even been running. Anybody. But again, this is their party. This is what they don't stand on integrity either. Had this would have been a Republican, had this would have been Trump, if you went back into history and Trump was doing this type of stuff, there's no dang on way in the world Trump would be president. Mitt Romney, any of them, if they were saying the stuff that this guy was saying and they scrubbed it, it wouldn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. It would not have happened. And you know it, and I know it too. If it would have been Trump or anybody else, there's no way in the world he would have been president. So this is a lot of pushback to Willie D. And I hope you're watching Willie D, because once again, man, I'm showing some of these old footages of Joe Biden, and things like that. And the guy is just a straight up liar. You heard when he plagiarized one of the Kennedy speech and everything. There's no real originality whatsoever. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is my pushback against Willie D. Because like I said, he's been very boisterous on the liberal side. And I wanted to share with you guys the video now that we already watched it. Once again, Snoop Dogg, Nelly, I have no problems with you. You can go to the inauguration, perform at the Trump inauguration. No big problem, no big deal at all. But for the people that are giving these brothers a lot of stress and headache, shame on you. Because just like I brought up Joe Biden's past, and we can go ahead and go into Robert Byrd and all this other stuff. Joe Biden and Robert Byrd are racist, straight like that. Joe Biden is a racist. Robert Byrd passed away. Guess who gave the eulogy? It was Joe Biden. So like I said before, all you got to do is get on here and search for yourself. You ain't got to take my word for it. But when I said that Robert Byrd, this was a senator from West Virginia, a member of the Ku Klux Klan in the early 1940s. And his title, leadership position of the Ku Klux Klan, was an exalted cyclops. Exalted cyclops. In fact, I'm kind of curious on what is the position leadership of an exalted cyclops, because you really don't hear from the Ku Klux Klan anymore, but they're still around. Here's a breakdown right here. Let me see here. Now, I'm not going to show, I got to be very careful because, in fact, I'm going to do this on my own research because I don't want to, I want to avoid any type of copyrights. Getting any type of strikes for promoting hatred or whatever like that, because I do that on my own search, or in fact I just won't show it up here because I got my shared screen here, so I can look it up without showing it. Let's just do that, because we got to get down to the bottom of it here. And I appreciate you guys for being on. You already know Sherry, and we got Omega. We also have John. I know we spoke earlier. We got 1000 RR. We also have there's a few others on there. Billy Sharp. And things, and looked like Holly came on here earlier as well too. Yeah, Holly. Shout out to Holly. Yeah, she was only on for a minute. Let me see here. What is going on here? This is the obituary of Robert Byrd. Yep. So, yep. Let me see here. We're not trying to look up no obituaries. Let's see here. Yeah, exalted Cyclops means a president. So it's just it's a president, high member, ranking member. And that's what Robert Byrd was, So, and he was a Democratic senator. There was a lot of Democrats that were senators and stuff, and in Congress that were Klans members. When you look at the Reconstruction period, a lot of Democrats they were also Klan members. I'm bringing this up because I want people to know the history, even though it's a dark time in history, but we have to talk about it. We have to address it, and we have to bring it up because this is exactly what it is. This is exactly what it is, so, regards to it. So, this is my pushback to Willie D. And Willie D, like I said before, man, I'm glad that you and Nelly, you guys, seem to be pretty cool and things like that. But I would just say, man, just if you're neutral as you claim to be, I find you kind of slant more on the liberal side. And, and I know with people that are more liberal, more neutral, they try to be more moderate, which is cool. But you can be a moderate liberal, you can be a moderate conservative. Because like I said before, I got a friend of mine that says that he's a moderate liberal, right? Then there's some people I know that are moderate conservatives, right? Nothing wrong with it per se, but just educate yourself about your party. Find out as much about your party, though, because there are some things in your party. And like I said, I'm just kind of breaking some stuff down because Joe Biden, and he's not by himself. And there are many others, when you start looking at the whole party and things like that. So look at the so-called Black community. After segregation, we lost more. We didn't gain anything. We lost. We were married well over 80% rate. We were married more than white people back in those particular days and times. Now it's like 31% now and falling. So what else is another Democratic Party? Keep saying it. Welfare Act in 1965. Lyndon B. Johnson, the Great Society. This is what undermined the so-called Black community. Went from an 80%. They destroyed the unity of the man and woman, the nucleus of the family. They kicked the Black male out. They incentivized the Black woman by giving her what they call welfare. When she took the welfare, guess what ended up happening? She didn't need to have a man anymore. She became a welfare queen, as we call them. And thus, this is how the welfare queen was built and was born. Here we are, 2025, right? They destroyed the family unit. This was a Democratic policy once again. This is what ended up happening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm here just to, tell this truth, because this is exactly what happened. A lot of things in the actual civil rights bill was taken out. wasn't the original civil rights bill that Martin Luther King led the march and died for. And tell me why you got all type of foreign people and everybody else was in that civil rights bill, and they never went to any of this type of tragedy as well, as opposed to what the marches and everything was, though, regards to the stop of racism and hatred. This was going on, but again, the Dems, meaning the Democrats, and things like that, they have a whole history of this type of stuff. And more people are waking up to the Democratic Party. They're waking up to the facts and waking up to this is the real facts. And I'm trying to educate more about this particular party, because this is a party, the Democratic Party is not the party of my ancestors. The party of my ancestors was the Republican Party. 1854 is the birth of the Republican Party. And the Republican Party, once again, and we can bring this up again, where it was actually started with blacks, right? And the other group, I think it was called the Whigs, and things like that. But the Whig Party, so there was people that formed what we call the Republican Party. It was a coalition of anti-slavery activists, right? So you had the Whig Party, the Free Soul Party, you know what I'm saying? And these were the ones that formulated what we call, that's why we have the Republican Party today. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear the term GOP, that means the Grand Old Party. That's what that means. It ain't nothing racist about it. It's what's called the Grand Old Party, founded in the United States, right? And let me see here. I'm trying to see here. I think it was, I'm trying to remember the actual state that it was actually founded on. I had to go on my other notes, but at any event, it was, this is basically the party, like I said, the party to stop the slavery, because slavery was steady spreading out. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it was, and why a lot of you would figure that a lot of black leaders know this fact, but they would never talk about it. You notice that they would never bring that point up. They would never bring it up. What they would bring up is how racist the Republicans are in Donald Trump. That's what they bring up. They would never give the history of the Republican Party. And I love giving the history of origin of stuff, because I was like, you want to know. I like to know, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I bring it up. So therefore, I really appreciate you guys coming on and stuff. I just wanted to bring this point up and do a reaction to Willie D and things like that. So, and I appreciate you guys on Twitch and also on X as well. For my X, I'm trying to grow my X up as well too. So people on X, I thank you guys or whatever for that. And Trump's inauguration is going to be going on later today and things. So I did not go because the dangerous weathers that was going to take place. I think it was going to drop down to like freezing temperatures, man. So I didn't want to be messing around with that. So, but yeah, man, like I said before, I appreciate you guys and things, man. And I just wanted to shed a little light to this reaction to Willie D. And this is the guy from the Ghetto Boys, Willie D of the Ghetto Boys. For some of you guys may go back, some of you guys may have heard the music before. You know what I'm saying? He came out with his own particular thing, though. This is the same guy here. This was the group here, the Ghetto Boys. Here it is. And I'm not gonna play it because
welcome to OC,
because I don't want to play the music. I just wanted to show you guys, because I'm trying to avoid a copyright. I don't want any type of situation, but you guys can see it right here. This is the one. I think this is the first one here. because it was Scarface, Willie D, and Bushwick Bill. So it was three of them. They were out of Texas, Fifth Ward, right? Area where Beyonce is from, right? So this is the group right here, and these are the ones that started the Ghetto Boys. So this is it right here. The CD was called Making Trouble, and that's what they were promoting, Making Trouble. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of scrolling down here. Yeah, because Bushwick Bill passed away though. But yeah, they're archive in the music industry and things like that. But like I said before, they profited off of this stuff, just tools to the Democratic Party. What can I say? I'm gonna be doing a video. I would say probably the next time I go live, it's going to be in regards to the presidents on the Democratic Party from 1913 up to 2020. And I'm going to actually be bringing up some things, showing you guys the presidents when they first sold out or been bought by the international banker. And we're going to talk about that and bring that up as well, though. Hopefully I can start spreading more awareness, because especially every single Democratic president from 1913 up have been in the back pocket of the international banker. That's a known fact. And I can't wait till we get into that video and things on my next live. I talk about things that other people really don't talk about very much, because most of the stuff I'm been kind of putting, if you notice, all my shorts and all my things, I talk about the Senate. I talk about, the branch. What is it? The three branches of government. We talk about the 27 amendments. We talk about these things because I want people to be aware, and I want people to know their rights, right, as an American. Because even though Trump is in there, we still have to do our part. We have to stay vigilant. As I always say, evil never sleeps. You have to fight for this country, because once again, and this is what happened before, because people get complacent. They get lazy. They expect for somebody to carry the mantle, and they don't have to do it. So I'm urging and encouraging people to get more involved. Did you know that Biden tried to he tried to use his presidential powers to write the 28th Amendment? And we already know you can't write a president don't have the power to write in a 28th Amendment. This fool tried to do this. Anybody know that you have to go through Congress, and you also have to go through the law, the other states? It has to be 2/3 of the states to be able to pass for an amendment. Biden didn't do that. What did he do? He tried to go straight in and just say, you know what, I'm going to write this 28. In fact, I think we can pull this up. Let me see here. Let's see here, Joe Biden. Let's see, try to pass the 28th Amendment. Let me see, 28th Amendment. Hold on for a minute. All right, let's see here. Try to pass the 28th. Let me see here. Let me see if I can go ahead and pull up my notes. Hold on for a minute, because hold on for a minute. Let me see if I can pull up my notes. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on for a minute. I think I have my other notes here. All right. I'm gonna do a search on my computer here. All right, where is it here? Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Why don't I do this here? Because I want to show you guys real quick. Hold on for a minute. Okay, let's just do this. Let me see here. Okay. All right. This is what this guy tried to do here, man. He tried to, it says Biden tried to go through the ERA. The Equal Rights Amendment is ratified, kicking off expected legal battle as he pushes through the final executive action. Anybody that know, and this is why the founder and fathers made sure that we have a three-system government, and you have to have 2/3 of the vote from different states, like the states, in order to around the states, United States, you got to have 2/3 of the vote in order for this to happen. This fool tried to eradicate it himself. He wanted to put in the 28th Amendment, because we have 27 amendments by the Constitution and by the people that voted this in. He tried to put it in himself. That's why I'm telling you guys, this guy Joe Biden here is an anti-American. He always have been. This is exactly what he tried to push. And you know it's not going to go through. You know, you just look at the Constitution, look at the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is 27 of them, not 28. And he tried to put that in here. This was something that he was trying to push, talking about for equal rights and all this other kind of nonsense. He's still trying to push woke. And it's not going to happen, though, because it has to go through the proper channels. It needs 2/3 of the vote for the states to have to sign off on it. He didn't do that. He tried to write it in himself. The president does not have the power to override Congress. You guys should know this, right? Just doesn't have the power to do this. That's why there's 3 levels of government for a reason, to stop tyranny like this. And Joe Biden is nothing more than a tyrant, a bully, and an arrogant SOB, straight up, and a racist on top of it. All this stuff I'm saying is actually factually true. I'm not making a line on this man. You know what I'm saying? So, and don't even have the mental capability to be president. He should have never been president. This is why we've been catching so much of hell and turmoil and things like that because of this man, right? I'm happy that he's out of there, really. I should have done a special episode on Joe Biden in regards to this. I really should have, but I think I covered some of the things about this man. The one that they want to hold up and things like that. He's a disgrace for the presidency. He's just a resident anyway. It's good to see that Trump is back on Air Force One and things like that. I'm happy to see that. What we call the miracle president, is Donald J. Trump, because this guy is crap, man. Anybody that vote for him, you're just delusional. You really are. You don't have anything. But this is what the ERA is solidified as the women's rights in the Constitution. This is unconstitutional. There it is. I found it. This is This is not. And see how ignorant people are. Your president can't just override and just throw up an amendment like this. It has to go through the Congress. It has to go through the people. 2/3 of the vote. He didn't do this. What do women? What are they? What are women equal? ERA? I haven't heard from this group in a long time. Do they? You got the 19th Amendment, ladies. Have you not forgotten? You have the 19th Amendment. You have Title IX. If we were to look at these things, doesn't that say that women and in women suffrage? Can women not be engineers today? Can women not be, they're in the military. What are they talking about? This is the type of nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. I'm beginning to wonder, are the liberals this darn brain dead? They got policies and laws that's already given. What are they talking? So what's the point of the 19th Amendment? Man, yeah, you're allowed to be the end woman suffrage and you're allowed to vote. Then you got Title IX. Let's go take a look at it. Because this right here is just crapola, man. Right? I mean, you know, what are we doing here, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, Sex and Discrimination Act. This is what this is for Title IX. This is nobody who's doing this today. You have this. You got the 19th Amendment. What equal rights are they talking about? Ladies won the gender war. The war is over. There's no more gender war. We're on fourth wave feminism. What are they talking about? Help me understand, because I don't know I don't understand this language. I don't understand this language. And I mean, I really don't get it though, man. I really don't. But this is not even a amendment. It's 28th Amendment. We only have 27th Amendment. This is not an amendment. This is just something that Joe Biden tried to pass. It's not going to work because we're going back to the Constitution. You can't do this stuff. The founding fathers know what they were doing. And that's why I say I'm giving you more and more stuff. I'm showing the receipts of how Joe Biden is anti-American. This is the guy that want to take our gun laws away from us. This is the same one. He's against the Second Amendment, right? He's against the Fourth Amendment, right? He's against a lot of these amendments of the Bill of Rights. He's against a lot of them. This just shows right here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, though. This right here, man. It's just a bunch of crap on Joe Biden. You know, equal rights. I mean, women have equal rights like everybody else. It's called the Constitution. Everybody have equal rights. It's called the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. I don't get it. I don't get this. This is not a real amendment. But people have forgotten. Remember, I was saying I was way ahead of this curve before this stuff started coming out. Isn't it ironic? I started talking about Bill of Rights. I got the live streams to prove it. I was over 2 or 3 months ago. I was talking about this stuff. Not only that, I was talking about the 27 amendments. I went down to each and every one of them. And then what else? I did a live about it. I sure did. I did a live stream about the Bill of Rights as well. But this right here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not buying it one iota. No. No. This is crap. This is unconstitutional. I want y'all to know this. This is unconstitutional because the people didn't sign off on it. They did not sign off on it. And it says a new era for gender party was a gender parity, right? In this country. This is what this is about. You know what they're gonna throw up under here? You know what this is about, right? This ain't about women's rights. This is about gender. They're pushing this this gender thing still. They don't want this these gender things to die. This is the hidden thing underneath this particular phony amendment. The 28, there's no such thing as a 28th Amendment. It's only 27 of them. Nice try, Biden, but it's not going to work. Not going to work. See, if I didn't know anything about the amendments on the Bill of Rights, I'd be right along with the rest of the stupid people and just saying, yeah, no, you can't do that. Sorry. And I know Trump ain't going to allow this to happen. That's why I say I just wanted to bring this up. Because Trump is a constitutionalist. Trump understands the Constitution. Joe Biden is not. Joe Biden is anti-American. He's a racist. Try to pull this 28th Amendment crap stuff. No way. If it doesn't go through the people in Congress, you just can't. You can't do this. This right here is unconstitutional. I'm showing y'all right now. This is an unconstitutional thing that Joe Biden tried to pass with the ERA, and it's going to fail. Can't do it. I wish my detractors were here right now. That's going to try to sign off on this nonsense. See, because I know about the Bill of Rights, and I know what you have to have in order to get an amendment. Amendment ain't an easy thing, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't get an amendment like the way that Joe Biden did. It takes work. This is done purposely to stop tyranny. And Joe Biden took it upon himself to draft this up. This is not a real amendment, ladies and gentlemen. It's only 27 amendments, not 28. Nice try, Joe Biden. You scum, you. And it's not going to work. This is not a real amendment. I'm glad I remembered to bring this up. This is not a real amendment. You have failed. It's not easy to draft up an amendment, and let alone to get 2/3 of the state in order to approve of it. Can't. No. Won't happen. Sorry. You don't just try to put up a amendment like this, though. That's why I told you this guy, Joe Biden, is anti-American from the start. And anybody that's pushing this type of rhetoric is anti-American. The 19th Amendment is a constitutional, that is legit, to end women's suffrage, to allow the vote. That's a real thing. This is not. The 28th Amendment is not a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't exist. And it's going to die because the people, this ain't what the people signed off on. And even if they did, they still have to be 2/3 of the state in order to be able to get it to pass. Sorry. So other than that, though, yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because this was something that was on my mind, and I say I'm glad I remembered before I end the live and things. So yeah, I've been a night owl these days but I'm not going to be a night owl for much longer. I'm going because it's almost 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but wanted to bring this up, ladies and gentlemen, and things. So yeah, this here is not gonna last. This is crap, man. Yeah. Yeah, it says Biden declares ERA law of the land. You can't do this. No president can declare, no sitting president that can declare an amendment. He can't even he tried to ratify. You can't do this. You can't do this. This is unconstitutional. This man right here is he's an anti-American. I don't know why you're even wearing the lapel of the American flag. You don't deserve to be in that position, sir. This whole thing is unconstitutional. Was it 27 amendments or 28 amendments? Hold on, shoot. Hold on for a minute. I'm sounding like a dodo. Hold on for a minute. I think it's 28. I think he wanted to ratify. Yeah, he wanted to ratify the 28th Amendment. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I made a miss error So I want to make sure it's 27 amendments. Okay, 27 amendments. Okay, thank you. All right, it's 27 amendments. Ooh, man, I don't mind being wrong though, man. Okay, 27 amendments. All right, but yeah, so because I never heard of no 28 amendments. Yeah, don't scare me like that now. 27 amendments, right? Don't do that to me now. Almost had me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, 27 amendments, ladies and gentlemen. He can't ratify. He cannot do this. This is totally unconstitutional. That's why we had to get him out. I would never. He's gonna be a forgotten memory, though. He was the worst. He's worse than Jimmy Carter. This guy is worse. This guy is trash. And anybody that stand with this guy is trash. You know, we need a constitutional president. Obama wasn't. He was worse than Obama when it come down to that. He just wanted to set his own rules up, his own laws as he went along, man. This is why the founding fathers made sure that we had three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. This was done purposely. So stuff like this is supposed to stop this from happening. What happened with the Congress? Why did they? What was going on there? What was going on there? What happened? That's what I'm saying, though. Our whole government is corrupt. That's why it's God bless Trump and God bless America. That's what I got to say, man. Because we was on our way, man. We was on our way to dark tyranny in this land, though, you know. But God smiled on us, man, by giving us Donald Trump, man, Donald J. Trump. And yeah, I'm happy to see him going in. He's going to be sworn in and things like that. The inauguration, you know, I'm going to go and watch it on TV and things like that. Man, God bless that we have somebody that's great like Donald J. Trump, man. I'm going to tell you right now, a real constitutionalist, man. And for the president of the United States is Donald J. Trump, man. Because there's nobody right now that I can see that is fit to be in that White House other than Donald J. Trump, you know, because he's a real constitutionalist and he stands by America and its people. Biden does not. He has sent all that money to Ukraine, trying to start a World War III going on. You know, the one that have sold, a lot of their party have sold secrets to China and things like that, man. And then thank God that we're going to be shutting down the border. That's going to happen Tuesday, mass deportation. That's what I'm saying, though. When you roll with Trump, you always win. When you roll against Trump, you always lose. And the Democrats have been losing ever since Trump started running again. They done lost so much on stuff. They still can't believe that Trump won. They still can't believe it. Bunch of idiots. But they still can't believe it. Yeah. But it's going down, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And I'm happy that the fact that it's going down. You know? Mm-hmm. Yep, it's going down, ladies and gentlemen. Aren't you happy? Aren't you surprised too? Aren't you happy that we got somebody in the house like Donald J. Trump? You know, I am, you know, because we definitely need we need to save it in this land, you know. And God smiled on this country and smiled on Donald Trump. That's all I got to say, you know. So yeah, so we're looking really, really good right now. We're in a very, very good position. He's about to bring us back into the golden age and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm very, very excited right now. I'm just looking forward to watching the inauguration and things and hearing President Donald Trump. That just has a great ring to it. I may piss off some of the liberals, maybe get myself a special t-shirt and hat that says President Donald Trump. Has a good ring to it, you know. President Donald J. Trump, you know. That's a beautiful thing, though. That's a beautiful thing. Oops. That's the wrong, why they got the alien thing going on? Okay, I know why. You know, President Donald J. Trump. for the inauguration, man. That's going to be a beautiful thing, though, you know. Yeah, so it has a great ring to it. Yep. So other than that, though, I think you guys did the reaction to Willie D already and things. So Nelly did a great job. So shout out to Nelly and things. And I appreciate you guys for staying up, rocking with me. I know you guys, just when y'all turn me on, man, I know y'all listen to me in spirit, man. I appreciate it. You know, but Sherry, Omega, and John, I know 3 of y'all got your ears on, man, and things. They don't have to say much, but they know that they have my back, man, when I get some crazies in here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so other than that, though, I appreciate you guys. I think I'm out to get ready to shut this down, and maybe I'm gonna do one of those careers like the ladies do, talk real soft, and start playing on the microphone and doing all the texture stuff. That's a popular thing with the women, though. They be like, oh yeah, over here rubbing on the microphone. Yeah, it works better with the women than a man, you know. But they be like, they got all the, you know, it's a thing though too, man. But they got a lot of followers doing this stuff. Oh yeah, I want to talk real soft now. There we go. Yeah, people, it's kind of weird, but they like that stuff, man. It's kind of crazy though, man. But hey, it works for them. It works better for them than for me, you know. At least they got the camera on them, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a texture thing. Because I take the pop filter off thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the texture thing. People like that stuff. You know, the women, they usually have like the women doing this stuff. Yeah. It's actually a thing though, really. Yeah, it's actually a thing though, you know. It's kind of, yeah, some people, it's a fetish, I guess. It is relaxing though, too, because they have a real soft voice saying hello, how you doing, you know. But yeah, but other than that, I'm about to get ready to go and shut this down. Let me go ahead and do that. I appreciate you guys rocking out with me, man. And yeah, wait for the next live and things. We're gonna be going over the presidents and all that stuff. Other than that, you guys have a good one. Sleep tight, and I'll see you on the next live. I'm about to head on out. I got this soft voice now. I'm deep voice. I can't be that soft. Okay, so all right, guys. So about to get ready to hit it. I appreciate you guys, man. I really do. You guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'm gonna peace out, though. I'm gonna leave you with some drone footage.